Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Molly DeBlasi. Primarily, my channel is about our journey of trying to conceive, as well as life along the way and, just fun stuff. I do plan on doing more uplifting videos after this video, but I do feel that this is an important story, an important part of our story, and it's an important part of many other people's stories, and I think it deserves to be shared. So if you watched my previous video, I mentioned that I had a miscarriage at 16 weeks. So I just wanted to talk about that. We were trying for 15 months before we got pregnant, and we found out in August of 2019, and we were so happy and so excited. We were getting ultrasounds all the time. I think almost every week, because I was in a fertility clinic, so they do ultrasounds more often. So between that and doing the boutique ultrasounds, like the ones that you just take your family to, and it's not a clinical ultrasound, it's just like the ones you pay for and there's no doctor or anything, we had a lot of ultrasounds. And everything was looking normal in the beginning. There was one time where the baby's heart rate was in the 190s, so I asked the doctor about that. And because that's a little high for the age that the baby was at that point, but the doctor said that it could have been a lot of things if I was stressed beforehand, or depending on what I had eaten, or if the baby was moving a lot. But he said mainly the heart rates get a little higher because the baby's growing. The other thing was the baby was about a week to a week and a half behind size-wise, but my mom said that I was small when she was pregnant with me, and I'm a smaller framed person, so it wasn't that unusual, and the doctors weren't worried about it. I started seeing a midwife, and she works with a high-risk doctor, and because I wanted to have the baby delivered in a hospital, so she had to work with another doctor to do that, and this is the doctor that she worked with happened to be high risk, so he would do the ultrasounds, and then he would also deliver the baby along with her. So at like 10 weeks, we tried to have a gender test done. It was a sneak peek, so it wasn't actually like from the clinic. It was just like, I don't know, I guess it's third party, basically, company that does them. And they drew the blood, and it came back inconclusive. So they said there could be a couple reasons. The baby might not be that far along, but we knew how far along I was. We knew we were at 10 weeks because of the fertility clinic. I kind of thought it was because the phlebotomist probably drew it wrong or contaminated it or something, because that was the worst blood draw I've had maybe ever. It was really bad. So I kind of brushed it off, and we had it done again, and it came back inconclusive again. So that was kind of strange. It's based on DNA, so it's kind of like, well, that's weird. Like, I wonder about that. But in the email from the company, it said that this is normal and it happens. And not to worry about it, basically. So I started about a week after that having really light cramping. Like, it was just kind of twinging pains. It was like a sharp twinge. It wasn't like normal cramps. So I mentioned it to my family, and we kind of figured that since I have endometriosis and stuff, and I have a smaller frame, it was probably things stretching out. I was like 13 or 14 weeks by then. I also was starting to feel the baby like flutter. I wouldn't say kick, but I could feel little flutters, and it felt like little bubbles popping by then. So about a week later, I was still having those cramps, so I called the midwife, and she said, well, it's probably a UTI, so go ahead and take an at-home UTI test, and we did, and it was negative. So after that, she put me on bed rest. And so she had my blood drawn on Monday, so that was Saturday that she's put me on bed rest. So she did blood work on Monday, and she was like, well, it's about time, we should schedule an appointment with the high-risk doctor. So that was gonna happen Thursday. Tuesday, I went back to see her, and she tried to find the baby's heartbeat with the Doppler, and she wasn't able to find it. But it wasn't unusual. She hadn't ever found it before. And my uterus is retroverted and then tilted to the right, so it's like tilted backwards and then to the right. So it was harder, even with the ultrasound machine, to find the baby's heartbeat. I mean, they could do it with the ultrasound because they can see it, but it still took them a minute to get there. So it wasn't that unusual. But it did concern me a little bit given some of the stuff that was going on. So we did go to another one of those boutique ultrasound places, and the baby had a heartbeat, and everything that we could see looked good. They were trying to see the gender, but the baby had his legs crossed, and they couldn't see it. She said she was like 75% sure. But that was something else that kind of concerned me, was we were trying to get the baby to move, and she was tapping and having me cough and stuff like that, and the baby just kind of, like, he was moving his arms and his legs, but not that much. But I kind of thought at that point that it was maybe just it was a different time. Like, usually I had my ultrasounds in the morning and this was in the evening, so I was like, well, maybe it's just because of that, he's sleeping or whatever, it's just not his active time. But his heartbeat was there, everything looked okay other than that. So the blood test results came back, and my progesterone was only 6.9, and my HCG was like 6,500. So my progesterone in the third trimester should have been, or second trimester, should have been above 25. And if I was first trimester, which I wasn't, I was second trimester, it should have been above 11. So it was even out of range for first trimester. And then my HCG was 6,500, and it should have been at least 12,000, and it goes all the way up to like 70,000, I think, at that point. So basically we're just waiting for the doctor's appointment. I think probably I'm going to make this a 2-part video, and I think I'll pick up where I left off here in the next video. If you want to follow along, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.